So hello and welcome to this session. In this example, I want to model this type of geometry because it's going to be more challenging and there are going to be more tricky situations along our way. So I start off by adding a plane here, and as usual, I will apply my hard surface material and turn it to editable poly. And again, as usual, I'm going to use connect command to add some edges in the blockout session and also do the same thing on the other axis and adjust it a little bit till I'm happy with that on the size, on the height. So now I will put this face and extrude it down like this, and then I'm gonna just select the two vertices on one side and just snap them into the place. So in this way we just get what we want. And now as you see, we are getting the turbo smooth and a kind of a hole, but of course we haven't done any adjustments yet. No supportive edge loops, no definition, and this is just a mere blockout. So off of start, I select this edge and I'm going to use chamfer command and apply a chamfer effect in the inside. And now let me pick up my cut tool and extend the new edges to the corner of our mesh. And now you notice the new geometry, right? The all even rhombus. So I have to do basically the same thing, pick up my cut tool and then extend the edges and, well, clean it up with my target weld tool and just drag the edges to the correct places till it's done. Now off to the other side, I will just extend the edges using my cut tool from here and there, and then pick up my target weld tool and just snap the vertices to the right places. So let me use the turbo smooth, and as you see, it's slowly taking a shape, right? And the problem here, the first problem, is the noticeable curvature on the top of our geometry. So I pick up again the swift loop tool and narrow the edges down, limit the curvature just like that. And now, because I want to maintain the edge flow, I will be adding diagonal lines on the edges. As you might remember in the past videos, I select these two edges and just connect them and do the same thing on the other side. But let me demonstrate it again. I will undo and just zoom out a little bit. We want to maintain a circular shape here, right? If I turn on the turbo smooth, you see how it's being distorted and not being circular as we want. Fortunately, we have already encountered this issue before, and all we have to do is to select the vertices and just connect them to each other and just remove the unnecessary edges, and that's going to be it. Also, I'm going to delete also the other parts of these unnecessary edges right now. So, and now take a look. Just as we want. Round and sharp. So let us take another step into modeling. this example. Now, I believe the roundness of our corner is too much compared to the reference, and I want to reduce that. So it's easy to just add a single edge loop in the middle, and that will immediately, as you see the turbo smooth is on, it'll immediately reduce the curvature of our corner, and it's more like to our reference image. The next point is to continue adding details and chamfer effect on our model. So I repeat the double chamfer process here, and you can see its shading effect that it gives us. Now, the same thing has happened here all over again, and I have to pick my target weld tool and start cleaning this topology one by one. Snap that to this vertex, and you see the chamfer effect here. It's so sharp around the corners. We can see the shading effect. And by the way, you can absolutely be free at what you do. You can keep the curvature, delete the middle edge, or you can keep the middle edge and limit the curvature around there. Again, I pick up my slice plane tool to demonstrate how adding a new edge loop to the mesh affects the sharpness of the corners and the curvature that they produce. If you move them closer, you will see it narrows down, and if you just move it away, it results more roundness here. So now I confirm the slice, and there's the shape we want. So you see now, because it's more now rectangular shape, I want to test if I can actually, without the diagonal edges that I added before, and just target weld it here and then turbo smooth. I think so, yeah. Now that our mesh is more like a rectangular shape, we do not need that anymore, but still we need to take care of this part of our model. As you see, it's very messy. It's producing some artifact issues and shading issues. So just as before, I start cleaning up manually with the cut tool and creating a new edge, extending the vertices that have been left alone. And also I'll do it for here, extend the other part. And the last one. Okay, and now I can just use the target weld tool and clean up the rest of the things. And then, yeah, now it's all right. And now it's preserving both the chamfer effect, and also it's preserving the smooth fading that you're seeing right now. So I believe it's already enough working in this section, but if you just want, you can continue even tweaking, and then, for example, you can just weld these vertices together, and as you can see, our fading effect has now changed, and it's no longer being extended to the end of the mesh. And if you still desire to reduce it, to reduce the effect even more, and be satisfied as you will, and even now, if you desire to still tweak your mesh, you can use this possibility and just connect these vertices here and then get rid of some fading effect that was being applied and restrict it to the place, to the exact position that you want. Pay attention that these last tweaks that I did weren't out of necessity. I just did them because there was an opportunity, as now I'm doing another one, just merging these vertices and even reducing it to where our surfaces meet in the first place. So I believe it's enough for this example. And to sum it up, in this example, I tried to show you how you can take use of hard surface modeling techniques to just be a little bit more confident about what you're doing. And it's normal that you sometimes have to tweak and tweak a lot till you're finally happy with the end result that you get. Now let's move to model a simple prop. Here, we are going to use everything that we have learned so far, and we're going to model this power bank here that I have imported as an image plane. And to begin, I use this angle, or this perspective better say, and use a plane to start off the blocking section. I will just be modeling one side of it and then do the symmetry. Right now, I will add a translucent material to it because I want to see what's behind my model actually. I want to adjust it a little bit, and then I'm going to connect command to add some divisions onto the plane that I have. I want to add, I think 5 is going to be enough. And basically, I'm going to select the vertices and try to eyeball the circular shape on the side of our model. And to make it better in shape, you notice it's a little bit sharp. I just use the cut tool and connect those two edges to themselves. And then if I turn the turbo smooth, you see it's a little bit more curved in lines. Now the next thing to do is to add other divisions on the height or the Y direction. And I'm just going to again adjust the edges that I added and put them into place I want. And then for that part, I'm going to repeat the process and just add 1 instead here, and then move closely to the plug that we are going to have. Now, I think it's good, and we have shaped it pretty well. Only thing left in this part is to add 2 more edge loops for the other sides of the USB plug, and I'll just adjust some vertices to get what I want. I think it's good now. It's already in shape. And then for the other vertices, I'm going to adjust them a little bit like this till it's better overall representing the shape of our reference. Then I select everything and I want to give it an inset. Just reduce down the intensity of it like this. Hit apply, and notice on the left side we have the faces in not a correct order. So I move into the edge mode and select the things that I want and scale them to 0 so that they will be again in line with each other and do not miss or distort with our symmetry. And then here also I will apply some adjustments, and like this, and the same about the one on the top. And at all, it doesn't really matter for now because we just can use symmetry later. I just want to do some quick adjustments here, and the same about this USB ports. I'm going to select these vertices. So, and also the same about these two verts. I'm going to just edge slide them like this to be in parallel to them. Let me select. So now I want to apply some extrusions as based on the reference image that we have. You can see the bumps, you can see how it's being extruded, and I'm just going to replicate what I see for the whole outline of the shape. I extrude this inwards, and then, as you can see in this part, I select the faces, and then I feel like I have to extrude these also. And after I extrude these faces, the thing is that I have to delete the extra faces, the unnecessary faces that I have, and pay close attention, like these extra little faces, because I'm going to use symmetry, and these are going to be extended and mirrored across the other half of the power bank that we have. So first thing to do here will be to check if all of the edges, or better say all of the vertices that we have, are now in line by just picking them up and scaling to be regularized and be in the shape. I think they're now pretty much in line, and then I'm going to actually create the extrusion that we have for the USB plugs, and delete also the interface because they're going to be, well, USB ports. And now I want to create the outline shape or depth of our power bank, and so I have selected the outline edges of the model and deselect the middle parts and, well, extrude them for depth. And now it's time to switch to our hard surface material to be able to see it more clearly, and then start to deal with the topology and start sharpening our model. But before, we have something to change here, like this little detail. For that, I have to come here and select this edge, use the split tool to make it free and turn it to two edges that we can work with. So now I pick up these two vertices and just scale. I want to scale them this way, and then also on the other side I'm going to move that to replicate the detail that I see on the reference image. Just like this. I think the overall shape is now maintained, and later we will come back and just apply more definition to the model with some chamfers and, of course, with further adjustments. So now I want to maintain the symmetry, so I will just delete half of what we have here and just go on with the other half, and then we'll continue symmetrizing and mirroring. So the first thing to do is to create the sort of bending or curvature that we get when we go from the first layer of our body down to the layer which our USB plugs are built on. So I have added another edge loop here. I just try to scale them down and put them on the same height like this. Let me see if we have things. Oh, yep. I have to delete these extra faces. And my goal here is to create the sort of bending that I told you, which is just here on these parts. But I have put an edge loop here right in the middle because I don't want a bending to interfere with the other parts of our model. I want to limit it, and this serves as a safe margin. And now you might wonder, so what is this second edge that I've added? And I have to tell you that, let me just regularize this edge right there. This is going to be serving as the distinctive edge on the surface of the bottom. It's not apparent from this orthographic view right now, and for that I'm going to just rotate a little bit for you to better see, like this. And as now you can guess, I'm going to repeat the process that we did on the last example and just target weld these vertices on top to get the bending effect or get the curvature effect that we just want. And I'm going to select this edge and extend my selection, and I'm going to use a chamfer effect to further signify or limit the curvature that I'll be getting on this part of our surface. Just like this, you see the shading effect. And I'll apply some adjustments and finally clear this section off by again using the target weld tool, and this for that one. And basically same thing goes for this other edge. I'm going to apply another chamfer here. Notice it's going to again apply some changes in the topology, and we can change it and target weld them and delete them, but they're not going to be causing any type of major problems down there. And for our extrusion for the USB plugs, we can repeat the same process and here apply double chamfers and then select them and preserve their sharpness even more. So little amount is okay. And now the turbo smooth, as you can see, we are getting both the nice shading effect there and also this part on the right. And notice I said about the safe margin here, this edge on the middle part. It prevents the shading on the right, or better said, the bending effect on the right, to interfere with our chamfer on the left. You should pay attention that if you just forget about that or overlook this safe margin and first create everything and then try to limit this behavior by adding the edge, you will be getting some major issues and major topology issues that then you need to spend some more time tweaking and adjusting. Off to the upper part of the model, I'll do some adjustments here because I'm going to also use chamfer modifier on this part, and I select these two edges and I will want to apply chamfer, but now let me just apply some adjustments even further because I don't want them to the chamfers to basically go inside each other. Now you see it's being applied nicely, and then the double chamfer to preserve the sharpness of the effect we want. So I think it's good. And here as you see, I want to basically repeat the same process and select the edge loop on the surface and select the chamfer modifier to apply a little chamfer right here, and then I will want to create another edge loop across our flat surface. But as you see, the triangle that we have is preventing us to connect. So I will just connect it by hand and then delete the unnecessary edge that was created here using, let me find remove, and I control remove that edge. So, and you might just ask then, why did I add this edge despite I already added some supportive edge loops? Because it's not supportive, it's being a safe margin for this part. I'm going to actually connect these edges that I have here, and I added that edge loop because I'm going to have a floating vertice and I don't want it to corrupt the shading on the left where it bends down and goes down. And so just like this, as I zoom in a little bit, this is going to work perfectly fine. Sometimes you just do not want to extend your vertices or edges all across everything. For this purpose, you need to create a safe margin, just as I did before. And now take a look. It's all smooth and just as we thought it would. Now it's time to apply symmetry effect in y-axis and tweak the threshold. And so we only need to modify this shading right there. I'm going to apply again some changes there. I want to more signify this little fall off that we have. So let me go in there and turn on show cage. And now select the parts that I want in case these vertices and just move them on the left a little bit more, and then these vertices I bring them down, and I think it's better, but I'll just continue tweaking all these vertices even more, bring them on the left side and regularize these on the top to bring them down. And I think it's now looking pretty good right here. Let me just rotate a little bit more, and yeah, I think it's pretty good. Now I think it's enough for this part, this session. In the next video I will continue modeling on the other views, first on the one on the left, and then conclude with the last one on the bottom.